Overnight, the dominant global story remains the US-Israel war with Iran and its widening economic and security spillovers. Iran has continued missile and drone activity targeting US-linked assets and Gulf energy sites, while Washington is sending thousands more troops to the Middle East. The US president is pressing allies to help guarantee shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, criticizing NATO partners for not doing enough. Markets are focused on the risk of disruption to the world's most important oil choke point. Oil has been trading around $110 a barrel, and the International Energy Agency is warning this conflict is the greatest threat to global energy in history, with potential recovery times for damaged Gulf oil and gas yields measured in months, not days. That energy shock risk is feeding broader global economy concerns. Analysts are warning of renewed inflation pressure through fuel, freight and food supply chains, with the possibility of a fresh global food shock if shipping and inputs remain disrupted. Separately, Israel has struck targets in Syria following clashes involving Druze communities, adding another front of instability to an already volatile region. In North Africa, Tunisia has jailed a leading anti-racism activist for 8 years, drawing attention to tightening political conditions and migrant-related tensions. In technology and artificial intelligence, a major political rupture is emerging in the United States. The Financial Times reports an Anthropic's showdown is fracturing the Trump administration's earlier alignment with Silicon Valley, signaling a more confrontational phase in AI policy and regulation. For business, this matters because it raises uncertainty around AI safety rules, national security controls, and the operating environment for frontier AI labs at a time when governments are increasingly treating AI as strategic infrastructure. Turning to Australia, the Middle East conflict is now a direct domestic economic and political issue. With oil prices elevated and supply risks rising, the prospect of higher petrol prices and renewed inflation is sharpening. The Sydney Morning Herald frames it as a nightmare scenario for Treasurer Jim Chalmers: higher interest rates, higher inflation and higher fuel costs arriving together. The Guardian's political podcast coverage also points to growing debate about whether the conflict could tip Australia toward recession, and notes internal coalition positioning, including criticism of the US president from Liberal MP Andrew Hastie. The Reserve Bank's recent cash rate rise is already intensifying mortgage stress, and The Guardian reports households are weighing whether to fix their mortgage rates in a volatile environment. In Australian government policy and politics, media and war coverage has become a flashpoint. The Guardian reports Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson, backed by Sky News, has called on ABC Managing Director Hugh Marks to shut down journalist John Lyons over his on-air analysis of the government's response to strikes on Iran, adding to ongoing pressure on the national broadcaster and debate over editorial independence. On the ground, severe weather is a major operational issue in the north. Tropical cyclone Narelle is tracking west across Cape York as a serious Category 3 system, with Queensland's north impacted and the Northern Territory bracing. Emergency management and service continuity will be keyed in coming days. Locally, Alice Springs prison guards have taken industrial action, including a 12-hour work stoppage, citing unsafe conditions and issue with implications for correction staffing, workplace safety, and the delivery of core public services. And in lighter news, Chuck Norris has died aged 86, according to ABC and the SMH, while Norway's crown princess has publicly said she was manipulated and deceived by Jeffrey Epstein, in a high-profile interview now drawing international attention.